Welcome to the Ringer WNBA show. We are joining you live after the WNBA All-Star Draft. Caitlin Clark and Napheesa Collier, respective captains of their teams, have selected their teams, and I have to say, they both kind of built teams in their own images. What do you think? We have Hunter Cruse joining the podcast. He covers the WNBA for The Next, and he also is a draft expert who has a great YouTube channel where you can always find him, talking draft, talking rankings, awards, all that stuff. Kind of funny how, there's like the chicanery and the gamesmanship that you kind of expect in these drafts, but at the same time, Caitlin Clark, we knew it was telegraphed that she was going to draft Aaliyah Boston as her first starter, and then she was going to draft Kelsey Mitchell as her first reserve. And Napheesa kind of took a different tack where she didn't have to worry about it with the starters. There were no Minnesota Lynx players in the starting lineup, but, she goes with her unrivaled co-founder. I thought it was very interesting that she not only was wearing unrivaled gear. Yeah, exactly. exactly. In the midst of all the discourse surrounding whether unrivaled is actually a competitor or a compliment to the WNBA, and with CBA negotiations ongoing, that will, the players union will sit down again with the owners during All-Star. Fee kind of not only drafted the one Minnesota player in Courtney Williams, she drafted UConn teammates in Paige Beckers and Brianna Stewart. And she also kind of just drafted the players union as well. Like, she drafted NECA, she drafted Kelsey Plum as well. Like, she got all of her unrivaled teammates, the Lunar Owls, together as well. And then on Caitlin's end of things, she kind of just went with players that would play like her, like she said at the start that she wants to have fun. She wants 3-pointers, pace, space, all of that stuff. And I think the biggest surprise, at least for me, I'm curious if this was your biggest surprise, was her going with Sabrina Ionescu as her pick after Aaliyah Boston, when you did have Asia Wilson still on the board as well. But I guess she just wanted to go with the logo 3 shooting and another player who could potentially set her up for some logo 3s as well. Definitely going for the excitement factor, but you still got Asia as well, so you're good there. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, should be like. Do you have any big takeaways from what has transpired today? A little bit interesting that she took both Sonia Citron and Kiki Iriafen, but going people she's familiar with, a little bit expected there. Yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting. One of my conspiracy theories about this is that maybe Caitlin actually just didn't want to be guarded by Sonia Citron. Maybe this was just a matter of her. She's never had to. They've never played against each other. They didn't play against each other in high school. They never played against each other in college. And the Mystics matchups, Caitlin has been hurt. So she hasn't been through the gauntlet that all of her peers have been through, that Paige Beckers, that Juju Watkins has been through. And now, once again, she will be able to avoid the Sonia Citron matchup. Yeah, I'm curious how much effort there will be overall. It is something I like a little bit more about, like the WNBA All-Star Game versus the NBA All-Star Game, where you don't worry too much about like the players like goofing off too much. We're going to see the flair, of course. Like, I'm excited for that. I'm happy too that Caitlin and Paige aren't on the same team. I thought we might see that when she had to pick between Satu and Paige, but I imagine that she didn't go with Paige because she knew she would have a lot of guards in the reserves. And then obviously she's going to go with Kelsey Mitchell first for the reserves. My biggest surprise in general was just kind of the approach that Caitlin took with the bench. She didn't take a guard till the very end and got stuck taking Kiki Iriafen. Not sure if that was the plan there, but that was like the only big left that she could have taken at the end. Yeah, and then she ended up getting Kayla Thornton at the end as well. And she said that she wanted her. But it was kind of an interesting approach where she ended up kind of going with a roster that I actually kind of feel like did end up being pretty well balanced, because she does have Asia Wilson and Aaliyah Boston on like her starting lineup. So, ultimately you have plenty going on for you. But she kind of made the joke of like, hey, I don't think we're going to be able to get any rebounds. But she also said, hey, we're not planning on missing. And that does genuinely seem to be the strategy here. Like, they have a ton of 3-point shooting on this team. And they do have, I think their starting lineup actually has a good amount of rebounding too. I feel like that it ended up being a little bit more well-balanced than I originally sort of thought of it as. And I kind of feel like it's going to be an interesting clash of styles where Fee, her team has a lot of defensive versatility. I feel like they're going to be able to switch a lot of matchups, maybe make it hard for, Caitlin, Sabrina, Kelsey to be able to get their threes off, go downhill. But then you do have, Aaliyah and Asia. You could hit them on slips. And I think the playmaking is going to be really fun. I also thought it was funny that I was thinking, okay, she took Satu. Maybe there's a little bit of a recruiting thing going on here where, that could have been a thing that happened in 2025 free agency. Satu going to the Fever. She obviously elects to go to the Mercury instead. So maybe she's showing her what life could be like. But then she offers her up in a trade. So I was like, okay, I don't think there's any strategy going on here.
No strategy, no boards, just going off vibes.
That's what she said. Just going off vibes. Going off vibes. Do you have a matchup that you're particularly excited to watch?
I mean, Paige against Caitlin, Paige against the guards is very fun. Stewie, Asia, there's some fun stuff there on both ends.
Yeah, Stewie versus Asia will be fun. I'm actually excited for Aaliyah and Asia to play together. Also, we get Sabrina and Satu reunited as well.
That's fun.
Yeah, and we get some Notre Dame teammates getting back. Not that they ever played together, but you have Jackie Young and Sonia Citron on the same. Actually, a lot of Big Ten stuff going on. I feel like Caitlin brought Indiana together for
hey, that's true.
in the Midwest together for her roster. Who do you see winning this?
I'll go Team Collier.
Yeah,
I think it's Team Collier.
Yeah, why is that?
You look at Caitlin's roster. I think it could come down to. I mean, the home factor. Maybe Caitlin just goes off, then that happens. But I think just in terms of talent, I think the bench and what Team Collier has a little bit more, having, of course, Sky, AT, Rye. I think Ryan's perfect for the All-Star game. KP as well, former MVP in the All-Star game. There's a lot of star power on that end. And I think Team Clark, I think they have a lot of good basketball players, but I don't know if they have a lot of good All-Star players with KT, with Sonia, with Kiki. I don't think those are All-Star flashy players, but Gabby as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like Fee's bench has a lot of star power. I'm surprised that it took so long for Alyssa Thomas to get off the board as well. She's got Skylar Diggins, adds more to their defense, two players that add a ton to the defensive versatility, Angel Reese. But then you also have the scoring of Kelsey Plum and Ryan Howard that kind of round them out. They're super versatile. And then their starting lineup is just kind of an all-time UConn team as well. So I think the contrast in styles is going to be really fun to watch. I really think it could be anybody's game. I feel like Caitlin's got a better starting lineup, but then Fee has more depth. They can probably play a lot more different lineups. I love the Alicia Gray pick, even though it was I was surprised. That was another one I was surprised came as early, Alicia Gray over Asia Wilson. But then, hey, the last time Asia Wilson was picked fourth at something, it actually fired her up. And I think the Aces could use some of that right now. So maybe it all kind of works out in their favor.